if you have purple hair and you're going in wearing a pink shirt and a suit, and you're going to a bank for a job interview, you're not going to get the call back. And I know that sounds silly, that you shouldn't be put into a corner to look like a certain person. But if you're the outlier for the wrong reasons, you're not getting the job, the offer. You're not getting the next interview. So do me a favor, pay attention to the top lessons that I'm going to put at you coming forward in this podcast, and just slightly tweak how you are, what you're presenting, and what you're delivering, and you're going to get the call back. And don't be the outlier for the wrong reason, because purple hair and a pink shirt are not going to get you a job at a bank. Trust me, I never call that guy back. If you have purple hair and you're wearing that pink shirt and that suit, you're not going to get the job at the bank. So it's okay. You're going to get a job somewhere, but with these next top 10 lessons, you're going to get the job that you love and want and have a passion in. You're just going to have to tweak yourself. So I've come up with the 10 top lessons that people in my industry and people from all different types of industries have agreed with me on as to what I can share to ensure that your lessons in this podcast come across to get you that yes offer. And if you need my help, just ping me on the side and we'll work together to get you that offer. But at the same time, don't give up on yourself, because everything you want and are doing is going to be fantastic. You just have to know how to tweak it for that role or that career path that you're so excited about. So the lesson that I wanted to talk about is when you're going into an interview, and this is for a lot of opportunities that I've seen work for people, you need to know how to balance humility and confidence. So when you're walking into an interview and you're slumped and you're like, I don't know, the person next to me is, looks better than I do or whatever that is, you need to know how to come across as confident. But you're not going to be that guy that's going to be like, I'm the best guy for the job. If you don't hire me, you're doing me a disservice. Trust me, you're not going to get hired after saying that. And unless you are someone's extraordinarily, prodigy son or whatever, you're not going to get the job or the call back because you're overconfident in the worst way. No one wants to work with a guy like that for 12 hours a day, or a woman for 12 hours a day. So balancing those two is almost like street smarts. You need to know how to do both at the same time. So how do you come across confident, and how do you come across with humility? And that is, say things that are smart, deliver them with poise, but also know when to stop talking. So when you're that person in the room and everyone's like, looking down and saying like, is this person going to stop? You need to read the room, read the signs around you to say, stop, you answer the question. Now, I have a law degree, and in the background, I always tell people, when you've answered the question, stop talking. Literally, full stop. You don't need to continue. You don't need to hear yourself think or say, ahs, and whatever. Stop talking. Say, okay, I've answered the question. Is there another question you would like to ask? And continue. The next thing, as I always say, top lessons, you need to always learn. Always keep learning. And why is that important? Because you're great at your point in time now. You're going for that role. You may have the technical skills it takes. You may have the verbal skills it takes. But in 5 years, if you're not constantly learning, you're going to be 5 years behind the next person who's learned in 5 years more than you have. And you're going to tell me, I'm busy. I don't have time for that course. I don't have time for that YouTube video that takes 2 hours to learn something. And the answer is, well, someone's not going to have time to educate you and promote you to your next role. And that's the disservice you're doing to yourself. You're not learning to be in the next no, or in the next aha moment where I could take my 10 years of experience and get more leverage on the next job because I now know more. So don't do the monkey see, monkey do kind of role every day, all day, because it's not going to help your long trajectory career path. Next point, take initiative. If the shit's broken, go fix it. Why does your boss have to tell you, go fix that thing? You will literally be your boss's right-hand person if you fix shit that's broken and you're the fixer. My boss a few years ago was like, I like you because you fix things that are literally, I didn't even know were broken. And I didn't do it on purpose. I just said, if I'm going to lift up the rock and I see a problem underneath the rock, I'm going to fix whatever was there. But guess what? I only did things like that I had time for. And I didn't take 10 fixers at the same time. So if I did a project and I knew I had a full days of work, I fixed a little bit of something each day so that by the end of the week or the end of the month, I had something fixed that I didn't know I was fixing. So focus on initiatives, focus on things that are going to get you that extra work, but they're not going to overwhelm your day-to-day job. You need to do your actual job to the best of your ability. So if you're fixing things and you're not doing your day job, stop. You're going to get fired or you're going to get let go. You need to do your day job really well and do on top of that something else that wasn't expected of you. So, next point, mastering soft skills. I can tell you that there are people that are geniuses in whatever field they're in. Prodigies, geniuses, they're the best of their best, but they have zero soft skills. They're sitting in the team and they're like robots. They're like, I don't know what you did or how you did it. I'm not giving you a compliment, but you don't want to work with a person who has no soft skills. What does that mean? Your emotional intelligence. And this is kind of those little quirks that says, I can't teach you soft skills. It's actually not true. You can be taught soft skills. If you see a person that is absolutely commanding the room, they're that person everyone wants to be, that person has spent years advancing their soft skills. They know how to say hello, they know how to shake a hand, they know how to dress, they know how to say the right thing at the right moment. Those are soft skills you can learn over time. And you can mimic them by actually looking at people who are really good at those skills. It's almost like a dance class. You're going to look awkward the first day or two, but by that 10th class, you are cha-chaing or, doing the best salsa there is because you learned that skill over time. So what is your emotional intelligence? If you know right now that there's people that are giving you feedback and they're constantly giving you feedback, your emotional intelligence needs work because you're not reading the room. I know plenty of people, and I worked with someone that I won't name, but they're a great person. They knew their technical aspect really, really well. They kind of command, modeling. They could command Excel. You asked them for it, they knew it like 2 seconds. But they had no idea that how they spoke and how they came across was crass and disgusting. They literally came at you like you were the dumber person in the room. They're like, you are such an idiot. Move out of the way, I'll fix it. But they didn't do it intentionally. They were just kind of saying what came out. There was no filter on their mouth. So soft skills are something that you can actually learn. One of the best people to do like a soft skill is if you look at old interviews of Bill Clinton or Barack Obama. And why they are as charismatic as they are is because their soft skills have advanced more than most people. Politicians need soft skills. They need to know how to kiss babies, how to hug you, how to say, oh my gosh, you're such a sweet person, and, get that vote out there. And you're like, well, how do I do that? And you go, well, there's a way to do it that's not fake. You don't want to have that smile of a fake salesman. And trust me, I know plenty of people who are. You know who you are when you're listening to this. It's like, hi, and all of a sudden you're like very serious, and then 2 seconds there's a smile, and you're like, that's such a fake smile, stop smiling. And you're like, that's their natural persona, that's who they are. But those are soft skills. Those are skills that they need to know for their role so that someone votes for them, or someone, says, hey, Joe is a really nice guy, promote them. You can't just be all technical. AI will give you the skills you will need, but they cannot teach you personal relationship skills. You could take classes, you could ask your people, hey, you're really good at this. How do I become like you? And people love being mentors. People love being sponsors. People love giving advice. Now, there's not everyone that loves giving advice because then people see you as competition. But go to those people that are willing to sit down with you and say, what you're doing right now doesn't work. Stop doing that shit. But what you do here and how you do it, and I'll show you, is a lot better. So spend the time to reach out to those people. Hit me up. Say, hey, look, I'm doing something wrong. And by the way, those skills translate to dating as well. Because if you are the most single person out there and you're going on first date after first date after first date, and you're like, what is going on? It's because you're awkward. That's the gist. I've gone on so many dates where people are like, well, the guy kind of like just didn't even offer to say like hi or a handshake, or he just kind of like, did one of those like, hey, and you're like, what the hell was that? The date's over at that point. I was like, so if you can't talk to someone across the table from you, you're most likely doing the same thing in a job interview. You're most likely doing the same thing at work, and you're just a little weird. So make those soft skills count. Get classes, educate yourself, sit with people, ask for help for soft skills. Mm-hmm. Now, the last thing that I'm going to say, and it's something we all know. AI is here to stay. Whether you use Grok, whether you're using Gemini, whether you're using ChatGPT, and there's a million out there, pick your favorite, pick all of them for all you know. Punch in whatever it is that you need help in and see what that thing says to you. You have so many available tools now to get you the job, to get you that write-up on something you don't understand or know. You don't even know what you have. For my generation, who had Encyclopedia Britannicas on their, shelves, if you were well enough that your parents bought you one of those, you knew you were better than most, because most kids did not grow up with Encyclopedia Britannicas. Fast forward to now, where ChatGPT, Grok can help you answer questions within seconds. Why aren't you using them? Why are you still asking dumb questions? And I tell people that come across and ask for my help, there's absolutely such a thing as a dumb question. I will be the first person to say, dumb question, ask the ChatGPT or ask Grok. Don't waste my time with a dumb question. If you say, what color is the White House? Dumb question. What is, the square root of 64? Dumb question. Why am I wasting my time teaching you something that an AI could have taught you? Now, you need to have critical thinking. AI can do some of your work, but it will not tell you if something is wrong. If you summarize something that is, very detailed, you better have read that thing first before you asked it for the summary, because there are still a lot of errors in AI that actually come out. And if you 100% realize AI is, and you're not going to do the work yourself, you're going to look like you are absolutely not doing the work yourself. And the best way to lose a job or to not get a job is if someone thinks you're cheating. So don't cheat. Don't take the short road. You can take the short road on a summary. You can reread it and make sure that it's correct, but actually read. And I love someone who actually was telling me, I read a lot of books. And this person's telling me this. I read a lot of books. I'm like, okay, what's the last book you read? Oh, it was this book about a girl at a beach in a summer house. I'm like, what's the title? Was it a good book? Would you recommend it? And she's like, oh, I don't remember the title. I'm like, was it good? Yeah, I think it was good. Like, did you read it? Paperback? Audible? What was it? And she's like, oh no, it was Blinkist. I did it on Blinkist. I just read the summary of it. I go, so what's the point of reading a book if you just read the summary of it? Oh, because someone else told me about it and I wanted the summary of it. I'm like, look, there's many of you that may use the app and love reading that way, but I actually like reading the entire book to know the context. It's like when you meet someone on the first try, imagine just asking the person, give me your summary. It's like asking for their resume. Give me your resume. I don't need to talk to you. Well, if that was the case, then we'd all be hired based upon our resumes. We would never actually show up to an interview. So take the time, learn the process, learn that thing that you need to learn, whether it's for your job or for the interview or for your personal matter, whatever it is, do the work. Like I said in the H.E.R approach, hard work pays off. And you're like, well, why do I have to read this very boring 40-page document? Because if you don't read it and you summarize it incorrectly, you are dismissed at that point. And I mean dismissed in the worst way. Like, no one will give you work that they trust you again for. No one will appreciate the next thing that you may come up with that may be brilliant, because they're thinking that you're cheating and that you're getting your idea from something that you're not even re-reviewing. So do the work. It matters. So on that note, I hope these 10 lessons stick with you and actually get you that next role, or actually get you better in your soft skills, or tell you, hey, look, before I heard these top lessons, I wasn't reading, or I wasn't always learning, or hey, I actually took initiative and I was recognized for it, or I am trying to be a little bit more, well polished in the way I deliver something with my confidence rather than being the loudest mouth in the room. So I hope these lessons help you and take you to be a better version of yourself. If you've heard me on my earlier podcasts, I have this thing where I say, especially to men, where are you? Are you a bicycle? Are you a Toyota or the Ferrari? And it very simple, three examples, right? And I go, what is a bicycle? Simple, pedal, doesn't take a lot of speed. Everyone likes a bicycle, right? Go to Toyota. I only say Toyota because a Toyota is a good average car, right? Affordable, dependable, doesn't break down, does the work. The Ferrari, the expensive, the hot, the sexy, like what is a Ferrari? Like you hear that vroom on the street and you're like, what is that thing? You turn around, you're like, I want that. How do I get one of those? And to you, it could be a Lambo, it could be something else that's sexy and expensive. And you go, which one of those three would you be? And if you like being in a Toyota, good for you. But most people would achieve to be the Ferrari because what's the point of just being average? I was like, so be the Ferrari, go get it, do that thing that you want to do, plan that success. It may take you a little bit longer than you initially planned for it, but it's okay. We're all there with you. Use the AI for advancing yourself. Don't have to suffer by yourself. You don't have to go to a library or check out a book or do anything else. You have those tools. Use them, because if you're not going to use them, there's a guy across the world that's using it and is advancing his career as we speak, and you're behind that 8 ball. I was like, I don't care what you hear in the news right now. I was like, you don't want to make a widget for the rest of your life, okay? No one's going to sit there and screwing in iPhone little, what is it, bolts into an iPhone case. No one wants that job. You want a job where you're critically thinking, you're in demand, and everyone thinks of you as the Ferrari. So on that note, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. I hope your comments come across. And I hope if you need help, reach out. We'll make each other better. And if you're willing and excited to collaborate with me on the Top Lessons podcast, please send me a note. I'm happy to look forward and, start a relationship going. And on that note, thanks so much. Tune in again, and I'll see you next time on the Top Lessons. Thanks, guys.